I intentionally spent the last 12 months living out of 2 backpacks. For 12 months, I only had 2 pair of pants, 4 shirts, 6 pair of socks, 10 pair of underwear. Except right now, the other 5 are dirty. And then lastly, 2 pair of shorts. And you would think with so little clothing that my ability to be happy would be through the roof. But the reality was, I was the unhappiest person in the world. And I was about to say to minimalism, screw it, and move on with my life. So personally for me, I think I chose the different variation of minimalism that I don't think personally reflected my personality and what my needs. So what I'm talking about is that when I was traveling, my thought process was you need to have the least amount of stuff to be happy, and that's what's considered minimalism. But that also made me really unhappy. And what I realized is that I need to change the way of thinking. So the question I have is, how do you be happy and also be a minimalist at the same time and also have a lot of stuff?
Hi, how's it going? I want to get a medium dark roast.
Then I had this epiphany, and it all started with this coffee. It's not actually the coffee, but more so what it represents. It's the framework. The car I drive to the coffee shop is always the same. The route I always take is always the same. The order of my coffee is always the same. And since the framework of me buying coffee is always the same, that means that my mental energy always stays at 100%, which means I can then focus all my attention on the most important task of the day. If I took a different car every time I took grab coffee, or a different route, or ordered a different drink.
Can I get a black and white? Yeah, is that a thing? Yeah.
My mental energy would be drained, and my motivation to do anything would be limited. I think there's a really important factor when it comes to minimalism, which is your mental energy. So if you think about people like Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg who wear the same thing every single day, they're doing it for a reason. They're trying to reduce the amount of energy that they have to think about in the morning when it comes to dressing themselves. And this is why I coined a new phrase, mental minimalism. Let me show you what I mean. So I think the first step in minimalism is building a framework and having your surroundings be based off of your mental energy. Personally for me, my minimalist morning routine is very similar to Barack Obama in the sense that I always do the same actions every morning. The first and only thing I do in the morning is plug this into the outlet to warm up my hot water for coffee. Once the water is heating up, I go shower for 5 to 10 minutes, longer if I am trying to still wake up. And once I'm out of the shower, I try to keep all my essentials in one place, like my toothbrush, hair product, and hairbrush. And obviously, I couldn't show you guys me changing my clothes, but the next thing I do in the morning times is I generally kind of wear the same clothes. So pretty much I have all my clothes in these drawers, but technically I only wear clothes from this one, and this one. Keeping it very simple, I know exactly what I'm gonna wear. Mental energy. For the next 4 hours, I don't really have a minimalist lifestyle when it comes to work. I just kind of create checklists on Trello, and I try to focus on one task at a time. I guess in that essence, it is minimalist. Generally with lunchtime, I try to keep a very minimalist approach when it comes to what I'm making and how I can quickly do it. Generally for me, there's 2 options. I usually eat avocado toast because this is my first meal of the day because I do intermediate fasting. But then I usually do something where I pan fry vegetables or something along those lines. Or since I'm living at home right now, I usually just eat the leftovers from the dinner before. If I decided to cook something new every single day, what would end up happening is that all my big priorities for the day would be pushed down and making cooking the biggest issue of my day, which would ultimately bring my mental energy down to 0. Just put on my workout clothes. Now it's time to go work out, but the evening routine is different a little bit because, the whole day I'm in this minimalist mindset, and then at nighttime, I kind of do the complete opposite of what I've been doing the whole day. Even though I like to keep my evenings spontaneous, There are some elements of my evening routine that are always the same. For example, working out every single day for 30 minutes. And also how I like to go to bed at the same time every single day. Hey Siri, set my alarm for 7 a.m.
Okay, it's on.
And everything between working out and going to bed around 10, 11 o'clock every night, I like to spend my time with the people I care about the most, because it's because of those people that I can actually be minimalist in every other aspect of my life.
Hi.
Hey, how's your day?
It was pretty good. I just took a really nice nap, so it was good.
Anyway, also, do you want to say hi to YouTube?
Yeah. Hi, YouTube.
Alright, I gotta get going, but we'll talk very soon. I'm gonna finish this up real quick.
Bye, babe. Love you.
Bye. I know what you guys must be thinking. This isn't minimalism, and I would disagree, because ultimately at the end of the day, what every single person wants is to have a lot of freedom and mental clarity. The way that happens is by, eliminating some stuff, yes, and if that is something that you need to do, then you should do it. But for most people, I think it's very kind of in between mental clarity and like physical clarity. Because when I was traveling and I had this scarcity mindset, my mindset was I need to get rid of everything in my life to be happy. And I realized really quickly that wasn't who I am, that's not what I want to be. And I realized I had to change the framework of my mind if I wanted to be really successful at this minimalist thing. Because ultimately we need to focus on the abundance mindset. And I think what I kind of showed you is just an example of what I do. I think to have a minimalist lifestyle, I think it all starts with having a minimalist mindset. When you start with that, when you focus on the mindset and the mental energy, that will ultimately channel and funnel all the physical manifestations of what that might look like for you. Alright, I'm gonna go back to FaceTiming my girlfriend because I kind of hung up on her just for the sake of this video. So, I'll see you guys next week.